grippy rather than slippy, but it ends up being kind of DIY and slapsticky, or just put vibes out into the universe. Hi, I'm Sock Marionette, doing business as Bargain Counter Argument, and I'm a middle-aged lady in a tiara talking about books. And it is Tuesday, January 27th. It's very cold and somewhat clear for now. We are digging ourselves out from Winter Storm Fern, as is a lot of the country. And it's going to have to be a great day to get stuff done outside the house because I have some errands to run. And I was kind of debating when I was going to do them, what's the timing like, and my final decision was made by sticking my foot out with shoes on and seeing how slippery the walkways are. And it turns out that because our plow guy came like at least 4 times, maybe even 5 or 6, and was like really on top of it. We had a light dusting of snow after the last time he came, but it's very powdery, so it's actually snow that's grippy rather than slippy. So I'm going to go out and do stuff. Before I forget, the earworm of the day is Anticipation by Carly Simon. So I need to go to the post office to mail this birthday card for my sister-in-law, because I'm not sure how home delivery and pickup is going to go, so I'm just going to drop it off at the post office. I want to pick up a few things at the grocery store. I want to get more ingredients for my apricot anise cookies, which I talked about in my Christmas in January video, because I made a half batch and we ate them very quickly because they're pretty tasty, if I do say so myself. And library returns, as you probably ascertained from the title of the video. Yeah, I have a lot of books to go back because I've been reading quite a bit. I originally said Reading Up a Storm, and then I was like, that's a little too on the nose. So here's what I am returning. I am returning 9-Month Contract and 7-Year Itch by Amy Dawes. I very much enjoyed them both. I like this one a little bit better, but that's because of the tropes that were involved. This one is about a single dude who's kind of given up on relationships, and he hires a surrogate to bear a child for him so that he can have a child. And let's just say that maybe he wasn't as done with relationships as he thought. It's quite delightful. There is a scene kind of at the beginning, a little bit of the way they're using artificial insemination, but it ends up being kind of DIY and slapsticky, which I think might give people some pause. So, and it is pretty spicy. Same goes for a 7-Year Itch, which is also from that same, this is the, what is it called? The Mountain Men Matchmaker series. And I liked this one, even though it's enemies to lovers. That works best for me. I'm not necessarily a big fan of enemies to lovers, but it works best for me when you have alternating points of view, which these are both alternating first-person point of view. So you get both sides of the story and you can kind of understand why the conflict happened. And I think that that makes for a better enemies to lovers story, at least in the way I read them. I enjoyed those both, and I have Honeymoon Phase, the 3rd book in this series. I haven't read it yet, though. I also had a situation where I was at the library a few weeks ago, and I saw that they had 4 books by Catherine Cowles. Let's see if I can show you about. These are from the Sparrow Falls series, which is set in a small town called Sparrow Falls in Oregon. And they're romantic suspense, and I've heard such good things about Catherine Cowles, and I grabbed them, and I thought I had the first book, because, I mean, I got 4 books. I think the series is 6 books long, but it turned out I didn't have the first book. So I put a hold on it, because somebody else was reading it, picked it up, and now I have to get it back to the library, because somebody else wants to read it, and that's why I want to go out today, instead of waiting a few days until the weather's much better. And that's Fragile Sanctuary, the first book in the series. So I read this, enjoyed it. So these 4 I'm holding on to because they're not due right away, and I do want to read them. Another series that I thought I had all of the books. Well, I had never heard of this series, so I wasn't sure, but I thought I had all of the books, but it turned out I didn't. And that is the, what is it called? The Lucky River Ranch series by Jessica Peterson. I grabbed the first 3. They're kind of interconnected standalones. I mean, there are spoilers because let's see, I think the second book is Sawyer, and the first book is Cash. These are the names of 4 brothers, or 4 or 5 brothers. You got Sawyer, Wyatt, Duke, Cash, and I think Luke, which I don't have. Anyway, so Sawyer, they have spoilers for the couple that gets together in the first book, but these are, romances, so that couple's going to get together anyway. So the first book is Cash, which I haven't read yet, which, I forgot to mention, I believe these are all on Kindle Unlimited, and these are all on Kindle Unlimited, so I can read Cash without having to have a physical copy. I do prefer to read physical copies when I can, but I can go back and read that, but I decided not to do that quite yet. So, but I'm going to. These are pretty spicy. They're fun. I enjoyed them. They're pretty spicy. And especially, you may be okay with spice, but if you're not okay with, like, the story starts with a one-night stand and then feelings develop, then maybe Sawyer's not the book for you. The thing that I thought was interesting about reading this series and this series is that they both deal with brothers who lost their father and the ongoing grief that they experience as a result of that, because their father died when they were not super young, but when they were in their late teens, early 20s. And I think it's kind of interesting to see the way the different characters process grief and community and how they deal with that and with each other. And it's really, really an interesting dynamic that I didn't know I needed in my life. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. And let's see, just a couple more books to discuss. The Devil She Knows by Alexandria Bellefleur. Is it Bellefleur or Bellefleur? I think I've heard people pronouncing it Bellefleur, and I think they're the people who've been listening to the audiobooks, so they would know. And this is a sapphic paranormal romance in which a woman is coping with the loss of a relationship, and her job is high-powered, but it can't go any further, and she'd like it to, and she gets stuck in an elevator with a demon who... paranormal shenanigans ensue. It's a lot of fun. It is not terribly spicy. There are the relationship does progress to physical intimacy, but it's not described in great detail. So I really, really had a good time with this. I usually do with Alexandria Bellefleur. So yeah, this is kind of different from her other books, which had like a little bit of magical realism. This is like a full-fledged demon showing up, and it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Would recommend. And finally, we have Tender Cruelty by Katie Robert, which is the 9th and latest book in the Dark Olympus series. It's a very spicy series. In fact, I think that maybe the spice is why it exists. So normally I would talk about it in a bargain counter argument after hours. But I'm just going to say I really liked this book. It was a 5-star for me, partially because I really liked it, and partially because I've been kind of in a bit of a slump with Dark Olympus lately. The last few books, the relationships haven't been that interesting, the characters haven't been that compelling, and the political plot has been downright confusing. This book really, really pulled it out of the fire for me. Really liked it. Much more enthused about this series than I have been in a while. And if you want me to do a full-fledged After Hours episode about Neon Gods as a series... actually, it's Dark Olympus. I think of it as Neon Gods because that was the name of the first book. Yeah, just maybe leave a star in the comment section below, or just put vibes out into the universe because I am so close to doing it anyway. So those are my my returns for today, and I have to go now. I'm almost out of space, and like, comment, share, subscribe, or don't. I'm not the boss of you, and I hope you have a great day or night.